So, hence, see you later, Bobby Johnson. And it was justified. It was justified for him to get out of here. His scheme wasn't right. These guys couldn't pick up stunts. Um, Technique was off at times, I felt like. But just speaking to McGahee and Bobby Johnson, coach, tell me
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on these two moves before we get into what I really want to talk about is Wink Martindale. But go ahead.
I mean, we all saw it coming. Many of us wanted, especially Bobby Johnson. I've talked about it before. After really seeing and looking at some of the techniques, we've had conversations in spaces. In terms of his teaching.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of pass sets. But and the overall development of the younger players.
What's good, Ballfoot? What's up? What's up, bro?
Stuff,
I
fellas.
see y'all coming through. What up, Danny
Um,
Berry?
I mean, look, it was said, you had to go back and look at, Evan Neal, and there is talent there. I mean, I've been saying that from the longest while. There is talent there. He was coveted not just by this organization. Many teams throughout the league wanted him when he was coming out. And you saw what he did at Alabama. He played different positions and played it very fairly well. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Bobby Johnson just was not teaching him a zoodle. I mean, we looked at
Third
him
round pick,
coming
yeah.
out and we're like, yeah, he looks good. He looks like there. It looks like there's something there, but he looks totally lost. And what are the teachings that goes on in the meeting rooms and then on the practice fields? Why aren't these players progressing? And you can talk about Schmidt. Coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wanted him. He was ready. And yes, some of it is injuries. There have been injuries, and I know that's a commonality with all of the players. But still, some of the teachings. Why are guys not progressing? And growing the younger guys, in their game. Why do we have to go get a guy off the couch to come in and,
Right.
you play? And, and no disrespect to Pugh. I mean, I thank him for what he's done. While it wasn't always the greatest, he went in there and he gave his best effort. So, but still, with the younger players, you expect these younger players who do have talent. You do expect them to come in and be fairly productive, and it's just not happening, which leads to the impact to other positions across the board on the offense. And as far as McGahee, yeah, he's another one. Up, down, whatever. We've been crying about it for years about the production, and yes, we got a punt return this year after Lord knows how long, but
How many
still,
years, right?
yeah, it's just and how many returns have we had against us during his tenure? So his
Mm-hmm.
his leaving, yes, it was needed. So wish him nothing but the best going forward. Just you coaching against us, we just want to come and punch you in the face and whoop that ass.
Facts. Facts, man. Now the thing about what Bobby Johnson is, the Giants have significant resources invested in this offensive line, and which was why the which was why the Bobby Johnson move was absolutely necessary. When you put in, like I said, damn near three first round picks, two first and a second, and then you've signed guys, traded for Bredesen. I mean, and you're not getting a production out the offensive line. It's time for Bobby Johnson to move on, but you have to make sure that you invest in a quality coach and have a plan for what you're doing on offense with your offensive line. Are you we gonna whatever coach, the sets and different things like that, and how to um how they pass set, the run blocking scheme, different things like that. That's gonna have to be taken into consideration when you're starting now. You know, okay, we're doing some changes here. What are we going to be in 2024? What kind of team are we going to be? And this is what I'm saying. What is the plan? I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
the feeling that Brian Dable throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks, and I'm starting to be a little hesitant on some of these decisions that's getting made right now. Now, getting into this now, Wink Martindale apparently is resigning. According to multiple reports, you know, legitimate reports. This is not no Wesley Steinberg report or anything like that. These are legitimate reporters, and he's moving on from the New York Giants. According to those reports, it was Wink Martindale's decision to resign. The Giants did not fire him. Thomas McGahee and Bobby Johnson were let go. And I just watched Brian Dable and Joe Shane's press conference. They were let go, you know, prior to the day. The expectation was that Wink Martindale was going to be back. But within all of that, after Bobby Johnson and McGahee were fired, so were, like I said, the outside linebackers coach and what's the other coach's name? His son. It was
Yeah, I
Drew
think it was
Wilkinson and
Drew
is it Greg?
I can't remember their names right off the top of my head, but yeah, they're Wilkinson, something like that. So
Yeah, so
you know, I thought they were
it was the
brothers, but
father.
they could be father son.
I think it was father son, but he let them go, and in within the next, I say, 30 minutes or so, Wink Martindale resigned. So there was people were connecting the dots. There was a direct correlation between the firing of the Wilkins and Wink Martindale resigning based on the fact of his loyalty to those guys. Those guys came with him over from Baltimore. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that's the whole deal here. My problem with all of this is
Mm-hmm.
Brian Dable.
Shout out to
Okay,
Wink. Sorry. Shout out to Wink. That's some real shit. That's some me shit. Are you let my guys go? There you go, my nigga. That's some me type shit. So I salute the fuck out of that. Sorry. But yeah, sorry.
yeah,
Even though I'm
nah,
a
man.
Giants fan. That's some me shit right there.
What's good, Zion? What's Gucci, man? What's good, man? The link is in the Big Blue Crew Twitter chat if you wanna join in with us. You know, Big Blue Crew exclusive right here. Fire up the live stream, man. Let's report on it. Let's talk about it. Wink Martindale. The problem with me with this whole thing is Brian Dable and Wink Martindale. Remember, it was reported in the middle of the season that they had a riff. It was reported by Jay Glazer.
Now we know what the rift is. He didn't like his guys. He stood up for his guys, and therein lied the problem. He fired his guys, didn't fire him. Then he made a statement like, "Well, my guys go, I go."
But even if that's the case, that's just a sucker move by Brian Dable, in my opinion. Because it's like, okay, you don't get along with Wink because of so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you as a coach, you have to understand that all your coaches aren't going to see eye to eye. This guy's performing for you. He's getting the job done on one side of the ball, whereas your side of the ball that you're supposed to be in charge in is failing miserably.
Yeah, Kafka should have been gone, not Wink.
You know what I'm saying? But you keep Kafka reportedly. We'll see what happens to Kafka, and then you go in and you go do some after you sit there in the press conference that I just watched and say you expected Wink Martindale to be back, and then you go and turn around and fire his guys
No, not. But
so that he can resign.
You gotta peep the way he said it. If he leaves, that's on him.
Right. And then you know what else he said?
To go fire his mans.
Yeah, you know what else he said? He said Wink said this was a destination place. He said Wink said that. So what that meant was that, hey, look, if I fire you, if you leave, hey, you the one said you wanted to be here. So he's trying to he's trying to be
Push it all off him.
psychological and
Take none of the blame. Back away
take
from the
none of the
blame.
blame, right? And that's what I'm seeing with Brian Day. But I don't like this shit. He just not didn't take control of this offensive line's situation with his boy. Waited to the end of the season to fire him. You know, he didn't take control of the play calling when his offense was miserable, and he didn't start getting involved until the middle of the season. You know what I'm saying? He don't want no blame for this shit. But you're the head
Although,
coach.
no, although I don't like the decision to let Bobby Johnson make it through the season, I understand why it was made. Because first time head coach, second season in, if you start firing guys mid-season, it makes the next group of guys question if they even want to work for you. Then it makes it hard to build a coaching staff because guys could get the wrong impression of you and think that you'll be a difficult coach to work for. So I understand why he did it. While I don't like it, I understand the logic behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you don't have to necessarily fire that guy, but like step up.
Take the job from him.
Take
Yeah.
something, do something, take action. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to sit there and point the finger at this outside linebackers coach. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's the least of our problems. Yeah, the edge room wasn't spectacular, but didn't Kayvon Thibodeau progress this year? So I don't know what these people talking about, yo. Like, come on now.
They had to sacrifice some lambs to keep the media off their ass after a 6 and
That's what
11.
it was, man. But you getting rid of, man, now you're going to have look, you're going to have to redo
You better
this
have
whole
a real
defense.
good game plan to fill that void of Wink Martindale.
You're gonna have to have players come in here, relearn a whole new scheme. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to
You don't
go
even
through
have
that
the
learning
defense
curve
that you drafted a defense for Wink's
for
scheme.
his system. That's what I'm saying, bro. Now, who you gonna come in here to run Wink Martindale's system? There's nobody like him. You know
Listen,
what I'm saying?
listen. I let you guys go.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
coach. Get in there,
all right.
man. Talk some sense
Now
into us.
here's number one. Here's number one. All right. In terms of defensive scheme, Wink Martindale almost mirrors what I like to do. I'm a cover one, cover zero type of a coach, but I am also adaptable defensively to put in zone. Whether I'm running a deuce, a cover two read, whether I'm running quarters, whatever. Now in terms of the front seven, I've always been of the mindset, unless you're running a 3-4, stout 3-4, two gap read. But if you're running a 4-3 or this type of a 3-4 type of a defense, the front seven is adjustable to whatever you play, whether you play with winks or you bring in somebody who's more conservative. It's still adjustable. The only concern I would start to have is that your cornerbacks, i.e., Deontay Banks. He's more of a press corner type of a cornerback. Now, if you can teach him to adjust to more zone concept, and I'm not saying that's the type of defensive coordinator that's coming in, fine, so be it. Now let's get to the different conspiracy theories. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe you guys are right in the way he's going about it, but I've always been of the mindset he's the head coach. You don't like it, you leave. Period. If I'm the head coach, you don't like the way I run my business, then you leave. Period. I don't care who likes it or not. This is what I want to do. I'm paid to be here. Period. Because in the end, he's the one that's going to fall on the knife. It's not going to be the
Oh
coordinator.
yeah.
It's not going to be the coaches. So in the end, yeah, he has to have coaches in here that are going to follow what he wants to do, whether they're Winks boys or not. Sorry, I love
What the hell
Wink.
is
I
he trying to
love him.
do though then, bro?
He's trying to
Like,
build his system. That's the
what is
point.
this system?
Yeah, everyone doesn't fully grasp it, and I get it, and I understand the emotion, but in the end, we don't know who the coordinator is going to be. We right now we're speaking based off of emotion.
Man, don't
We've
bring
had
Leslie freaking
issues.
Frazier
We've
in here,
we've
bro,
had
because I'm gonna
issues
be
with Wink.
really fucking tight.
Listen,
That's
listen. Have we at the start of the season? Did we or did we
man.
not have issues with Wink and some of what was going on?
I
Listen,
ain't
Yes.
really had
third
no
down and
issues with
not
him, to
getting
be
there.
honest with you. I didn't.
No, that's fans. That's fans. But I'm saying if you look at what
Yeah,
was happening in the
I had
beginning,
no
I
problems
mean,
with
game
Wink.
one, come on now. Game one, it was a total team loss. So you
Yeah,
can't
we
just
got
say that.
smoked.
But the point I'm making is,
The
all
first
right,
couple of
let's.
games, coach, we got smoked, and like that's what
Yes,
I'm saying
but
about the learning curve. They was starting to cook.
what I'm saying, it's year two under the system. If you want to
Yeah.
talk Bobby Okereke, fine, but there were guys in this system who were there last year,
Mm-hmm.
so the learning curve for those guys are null and void. No, you can't come out the bat. So there were defensive issues also across the board. So let's not act like Wink is just carte blanche and he's Bill Belichick with the 80, 87, 86, and the 80 Giants. He didn't have it like that. I'm sorry. I mean, there were issues and we've talked about it. We
Oh, of
we have
course. No,
so
yeah.
so so it's just like what I'm getting is like everyone is treating like Wink is God, and Wink is not. He's not. So we need to take a step back, take the emotions out of our feelings, all of us.
I,
I'm
listen,
disappointed that
I
he's
agree.
gone.
I,
I don't like the presser where you sit here and say he's going to be here, but now a little bit later he's gone.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like
That
the way
part
they
I'm
went
with
about
you,
it. But
but he's the head coach. Period.
yeah, I'm with
Case
that. I'm
closed.
with that because his is the job that depends on if they don't do well or not. So he's gonna have to make
Exactly.
some tough decisions, and I get all of that. My thing is now we have a defense that was drafted for his scheme. Who are you going to get that is available that wants to be a part of this shit show that finished 6-11? That now has to learn a whole new defense. And this is going to be year
Yeah.
one for whatever defense we have
Yes.
now.
Yes. Yeah. You're right about
So
that. But like I
I'm
just
not
said,
thinking
certain
emotionally. I'm
guys.
thinking, okay, what now? You know what I'm saying? That's where my head
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
Yes.
I'm not, oh, this is fucked up. It is what it is. My thing is, what now? What's the next step? What's the solution? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. That's where I'm at, Lou, in terms of that. What now? What is our next step? That's why I'm saying we have to take a step back because look, I'm telling you, some of the guys, Dexter Lawrence, one of the biggest issues with Patrick Graham and Dexter Lawrence was he was out of position. Wink and Patterson put Wink at the nose guard. So
Right.
I mean, I'm not Wink,
Yeah, Dex at no
Dexter
guard.
at the nose guard. So no matter what, whoever's coming in knows Dexter's at the nose guard. You have at least, two fairly good inside linebackers. Many of you guys have even said and I got the receipts. Many of y'all have said, well, we just need to be a 4-3 defense. What's to happen? What says we don't end up being a four
I've
three
said that.
defense?
I've said that
So
multiple
who you
times.
gonna get in here to run that?
But again, I don't know. Look, I've just seen reports like there were like 10 different people. I mean, and
Cause
look,
I'm not
I'm not
fucking with
saying
Leslie Frazier.
no.
Pause.
Okay, that's you. That's you. Leslie Frazier is still a good defensive coach. He is. He has been. Look at his record. Look at
You
his
talking about
resume.
dude
You
from the
can't.
Browns? Used to be the Browns defensive coordinator.
He was with the Vikings. He
He
was
was with
with
the
the. He
Vikings and
was
the
the
Bills. He
Bills.
was remember he was the Bills defensive coordinator
Yeah.
the year before last.
So I'm not sitting here saying it's just him. I mean, I've even saw somebody say Matt Patricia. Hell no, I'm not saying bring him in. But what I'm saying is there's a list of coaches that are out there. So what I'm saying is we need to settle down. The uproar over Wink, and I'm
Okay.
disappointed.
Now
But
here's my question: if we're gonna go to a 4-3, is Kayvon Thibodeau a defensive end?
yeah, and that's what for me. Yes, he's a
Yeah,
defense.
he can play with his hand in the dirt. I will agree with that.
Ojulari?
Ojolari.
I
I'd
don't
have
know
to
about
really
him.
look at him a little bit more because I don't think he's a cover linebacker. You can't just put him out into zone.
So,
So
so here's my thing now. Because of this, our draft changes depending
yes,
on who we bring
Yeah.
in. So
yes,
now, while everybody who was, oh, we got to go get our quarterback, that might change depending on if they hire a defensive coordinator that has
Join
some.
in, Alex. The link is in the Big Blue Crew Twitter chat.
If we mess around and bring in a defensive coordinator who has some weight and some pull with Joe Shane or with the Maras, that can be like, look, we're gonna need this guy on defense in order to
hmm
make it work. then that might shoot whatever everybody else was thinking. Here,
I tell you what would make me happy, and I don't necessarily want this to happen. This is just me being selfish as a Giants fan. If the
He's
Raiders
self.
fire Antonio Pierce, bring his ass over here as defensive coordinator.
facts, facts.
Okay. And that was the name that was on that list too, along with Patrick
I am
Graham.
with that all day. I am
I
with
don't
that.
want Patrick Graham no more.
No, I'm
I'm
not.
done
I'm
with
not saying
Patrick
that. What
Graham.
I'm saying is, like
I'm
before
Bring
you
me
with.
ask,
Antonio Pierce.
you
I am
said
with Antonio Pierce because I know he's gonna run a Tom Coughlin type team, whatever position he's coaching, and I like
again,
that.
again. I just right now, I just think we just need to
Alex has
take our
three. He
emotions.
says Pierce, Nelson from the Falcons, and Ivaro from the Panthers.
So again, I mean, there's different coordinators. What are they going to do? We're sitting here looking from the outside, from our perspective. In the end, is what does Dable want to do, and how does it work?
Man,
And
Hey,
how does it work
I hope Dable
complementary?
ain't one of these buddy
hey,
guys, man, where he
hey,
gotta have his buddy to.
hey, look at this. Peep this. Check this out. How about since Ron Rivera ain't won shit anywhere that he's been, we give him a defensive coordinator job over here in New York.
He's always been a good defensive coordinator. I'm not
I
going to
know.
sit here and say he
He ain't,
hasn't. So
he
Zion was
ain't won
good.
nothing as a head coach, is what I'm saying. So why don't we give him a shot over at DC after getting fired from DC? You know what I'm saying?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Well, we know it'd be Washington twice a year, which we already do. So
is he wearing a daggone Miami Heat hat?
Oh yes, sir. Hey
Oh
Nation,
my
all day,
God!
Wait,
all
he's from
day.
Hawaii, lives in California, and likes the Miami.
he likes
I
the
was
Heat
okay. It's a
and
little
likes the
triangle.
Giants. Yeah,
I
you
was
all over the place.
I was born in Florida though. I was born in Florida. Uh I moved to Hawaii when I was like 1 year old, so I don't remember much of Florida. But when picking my sports team, I grew up an Allen Iverson fan, right? I was all Allen Iverson. Obviously, Michael
Hey,
Jordan was playing.
hey. We talking about defensive
But hold
coordinators,
up,
sir.
hold up. Then what ended up happening is Allen Iverson went to the Denver Nuggets. I'm like, dude, this sucks.
ADD.
So I had to choose a team. When I got back to basketball, guess who landed on Miami Heat? Yes, yours truly, LeBron James, the GOAT himself. And then the rest is history. Back to
Yeah,
back championships.
you
Yes,
had your
sir.
little,
Yeah,
you had your
about to
But
little.
put you
that
in the
being said,
gulag, yo.
defensive coordinator. I agree with Coach. I agree with
I'm good.
both of you guys too. Like you guys, I wanted to join in on discussion because I was feeling the same way. You know, it's like I do truly believe that Rick Mortendale was the driving force of this team succeeding later on
Well,
in
the
the season.
defense is the reason we were in them games. That's the
Yeah, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, this guy ain't like anybody.
Jesus.
Like I'm not trying to be a dick, but
No, he ain't
this
Jesus.
this
Yeah.
this guy
They
ain't
can't walk on
Bill
water.
Parcells. You know what I'm saying? This guy ain't Bill Belichick. This guy can be replaceable. Obviously,
He
he.
got to now. I mean, can't be.
Uh,
He got to be replaced now.
let me talk. Let me talk. Here's the thing, though. We've seen. I'm not for a route of going
Your
college.
generation. Y'all beat around the bush. Get to the damn point.
My point is,
Let him cook. Let him cook. Let
like,
him
my
cook.
point is,
That's what you got.
him and Jim came to the agreement that it's not gonna work out. They came to the agreement that they left. Right, those close friends. They left, and they then the Baltimore Ravens brings in a two-time national Georgia
Hmm.
coordinator, and look at them now. Look at their defense now. It's like they haven't missed a step, right? Is that it wasn't like as much as Rick Mortendale built that defensive up in the Ravens and why we wanted him in the first place, he was replaceable. And if you look at it now, the
Well, it wasn't
Ravens is
just
number
him that
one.
built that defense. Them scouts and that GM had a hand in who they drafted over there. It wasn't just
Obviously they did, but I'm on the point is I fell in love with Rick based on what he did with the Ravens, and
he's
that's why
good.
I wanted him with the
But
Giants,
he
right? So
replaced,
my
yeah.
point is that yes, like I'm frustrated by it because it hurts the players more than anything. Because if you really think about it, I'm frustrated because, like you guys said, at the end of the day, it really hurts. It really comes down to the players because not again they have to learn a whole complete new system. Why can't we just have them play the same system and then try to build something? They get to the second year. the
Because it's
first year, some of them, and then it's stripped. It's
Because it's
stripped,
time to
right?
go back to the 4-3, baby. It's time. It's time to bring back them defensive ends clotheslining the quarterback. It's time to bring back that nose guard plowing through the line and pushing the damn center onto the quarterback's lap. Pause. It's time to get back to that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, that's exactly what it's time for. And then sometimes you don't get to the promised land on. I get it. I'm upset with Dayball on certain choices too, but sometimes we just gotta trust in him to live out his vision. And at the end of the day, I don't want to bring in someone like, as much as I wanted Leslie Frazier here in the first place as coaching duties, like about 2 years ago. I'm off that train too because Leslie Frazier, Rick Mortendale, yes, they have adapted, and maybe Frazier took the year off. You seen him on Total Access today, giving his opinion on the whole Bill Belichick thing. Like, yes, they took a year off. We see McCourtney take a year off and then head coach again. But at the end of the year, it's about adapting, and some of these old school defensive players, defensive coaches, they're so yet set on their system that sometimes you need that young creativity to kind of adapt and to bring back what this team was meant to be. And it's all about what you just said, Lou. The edge rushes, you know what I'm saying? Getting to that Giants defense that we was known for, the same defense that beat the undefeated Patriots, the defense that was when Phil Simms was here at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had some greats on this defense, and it's time to get into this hybrid kind of defense that can adapt. Now, I'm not saying Rick Mortendale couldn't do that. It's just, honestly, Bridges got burned here, and he removed himself.
Antonio Pierce.
Real quick, shout out to Pat. Pat says we
What's
need
up,
the
Pat?
edge rush back for sure. For sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with that. My thing is with this whole situation is, if this offense was worth any fucking thing, Wink Martindale would have a top 10 defense right now. I promise you that.
We the one. Yep.
So all these people want to look at these stats. That's the shit I'm giving pushback on. Fuck the stats. This defense was good, bro. I watched them down in and down out. We called every damn Giants game. Me, you, Pat, Coach, all of us. We watched this defense for sure, and we seen how pathetic this offense was and how this defense had to go on the field time and time again. And eventually, yeah, you're going to get burnt out. So that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? Look, this defense was good already. We were building. We were cooking, bro. It's like you starting to cook and you took the pot off the stove and you stuck it in the refrigerator and say, we'll heat it up later. Like, that's how I feel right now.
Oh, and you have every right to feel like that, because at the end of the day, you're absolutely 100% right on it. And it sucks that it comes down to the relationship between them two, because I honestly feel if the relationship was better, he'll still be here, and then we'll still try to build the offense up. And you guys are 100% facts, but the principle of it is it sucks that Brian Dable is the head coach and he gets the last say in it. And he's like, yo, I'm the head coach. And I honestly think Rick Mortendale will be interviewing for head coaching jobs this year. Everybody knows he's going to rebound pretty good. Who knows? He might take a year off, but he might rebound pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And it just sucks because you're 100% facts. We had it on defense. You know what I'm saying? This defense could have been something special if our offense could actually produce on the football field. And we all know how that turned out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. What's good, Rodney? What's good, Joel?
Antonio Pierce.
What's up, Joe?
Antonio Pierce. Bring me Antonio Pierce as defensive coordinator, former Giant linebacker.
I think Antonio Pierce is slated to get that coaching job, bro.
Here's the thing about the Ravens defense. The problem is, bro, the Ravens were good on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like they had pieces on defense as well. Like they were already pre-built by Wink Martindale. You know what I'm saying? So it was easier for that coordinator to come in there and keep shit going. When you have an offense that can that can control the ball, control time of possession, because the Ravens are a very good running team. And then you're talking about, a defense that's opportunistic as well. So yeah, I get it. It worked with the Ravens. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work with the Giants because the Giants aren't there yet. We got so many now. You are literally rebuilding on all three phases of the ball. This is a true rebuild. So I don't want to hear nothing about no 10-7, 11-6. Not no disrespect to Lou next year because this is a complete rebuild. Look at what they're doing, bro. You fired your special teams coach. You know, you're going to have to redo your offense because this offense ain't going to work. Whatever you put out there this year, whether you get a quarterback, whoever else you get, and then check it out. Now you got to redo the defense as well. That's my problem. We're not the Ravens, man. It's not this. It's not similar situations. You can't compare it.
What's
But
up, Alex?
What's good, man? What's
to
good, man? What's up with you, man?
Yeah, I got a
Talk
lot
to
of
me.
notes. I got a lot of notes. So obviously, I'm not happy that Wink is gone. I've been kind of like not happy ever since the report came out, and I just want to go on a little tangent here because, as I said, I have some quality notes here. Let me remind you guys that the New York Giants were top 10 in turnover differential, forced fumbles, and interceptions this year. So the first thing I'll go into is locker room impact. Now, did you guys ever hear any players say that Mike Kafka or Thomas McGahee was such a great coordinator?
Nope.
Exactly. I think now, whether it was media impacted or not, I think you saw players that like huddled around Wink, right? You know, obviously Xavier McKinney is kind of an outlier, but like Jihad Ward is one. There's a couple other players, Dex. There's a lot of guys on the defense that love Wink, that like are going to be happy that he's not coming back, obviously. So that's one of the things, right? And that could cause players to leave in free agency, all these other different things. I think Coach Ed and Miz were talking about it in the group chat. My next one is this, right? Everyone wants to talk about this narrative, and it's a good narrative, but not for the Giants this year. Everyone wants to talk about how, edge rushers really don't succeed in Wink system. I urge you guys to check out Brett Coleman's tweet about how, some of Kayvon's sacks weren't necessarily just one-on-one wins, but they were like cleanup sacks and all that sort of stuff, right? I think, personally, and this is not a fact, but this is an opinion backed up by facts, if you look at the film, of course, that Wink's system masked Kayvon's deficiencies as an edge rusher. Because you take a look at a lot of different things, right? You take a look at some of these other games. He's winning not because of one-on-one matchups, but because, hey, this guy's taking on this guy because of the defensive look, and Kayvon's just set free, and he gets the sack. That I don't think any other conventional system helps out Kayvon that much. That's why I think it's an outlier from the narrative. So that's one of the things, right? I obviously got me and Pat were debating a little bit in chat, and McKinney, obviously solid player this year, had a really good end of the year, 2 interceptions yesterday. Bobby Okereke, he was the third best linebacker in free agency, 4th best in 2023. And the Giants signed him, and he arguably should have been a Pro Bowler. He wasn't even a Mike before 2022 when Shaq Leonard got hurt. So I had that. And let me guess, let me just say, who is the one that put Dexter Lawrence at the nose and not on the actual defensive end, like an edge rusher? It wasn't Patrick Graham. No, it was Wink Martindale, right? And of course, you have to give some credit to Andre Patterson, but that's just the point. Also, as well, and I don't mean to take up too much time, but I have a few more notes. There's that rumor. Is Dable hard to work with? He did everything in his power to go out there and force Wink out, in my opinion, because you fire the right-hand man. You fire the right-hand man of Wink Martindale. And you could say, okay, you look at Bobby Skinner tweeted, oh, yeah, all these different stats about the Giants' pass rush win rate and all these other different things, right? All that other stuff. Okay. How about this? So Kayvon, right? I already talked about Kayvon. Aziz, okay. He wasn't coached up enough, and he was actually very much of a disappointment. Jihad Ward, don't really like him that much. He was solid in run defense, but for 2 straight years, he's had career highs in sacks because of Wink's scheme. Boogie Basham, right? A lot of that stuff. He obviously wasn't coached up. The Giants gave up a 7th-round pick for him. He did jack shit in Buffalo. So there's that. And also as well, the Giants, in my personal opinion, improperly addressed the edge rusher position, because we all knew Aziz was getting hurt. Jihad Ward and Boogie Basham were the backups. I mean, come on. I mean, especially when you had some guys in free agency to work with. So my last few points. I think personally, from a marketing and fan standpoint, the Giants have to take a quarterback in first round. Now, I'm not starting a quarterback debate, but here's where it kind of intertwines itself. It intertwines itself because you look at yesterday's win. Yeah, next year, whatever on the offense, but the defensive side of the ball, yeah, Wink's coming back maybe, and we got this defense to look at, right? Well, that's not a sure thing now. Wink is gone. You don't know if the defensive players are going to succeed in the next system. So that's a question mark. And if you don't take a quarterback and run it back with Daniel Jones, then guess what? What are you selling the fan base on? Then your ass should be on the hot seat, Brian Dable and Joe Shane. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they should be fired and all this other stuff. But if you don't take a quarterback and you don't have as much success on defense, or you don't bring in a successful defensive coordinator, what are you selling the fan base? So that's why I'm personally me. I know everybody's going to disagree on here, and that's fine. This is just me being a fan. Yesterday's win really didn't mean much of anything.
Yeah, I won't say the win didn't mean much of anything, but it is a sour note to not be talking about the Giants beating the Eagles and be talking about, one of the better coaches on this coaching staff, moving on because of what some may call it some friction. I have my beliefs in here, but as Alex pointed out, now you're going to be worrying about your offense because you're possibly going to be bringing in a new quarterback. I think Joe Shane pretty much said that, they're going to get one in free agency on the draft. And then, so you're going to have that working against you on the offensive side of the ball. And then you're going to have to redo a whole new scheme. When these guys, it took these guys almost 2 years to really get cooking in this scheme, like really, really start to cook. And of course they brought in different pieces here now. So now you're going to tell me we're going to have to go and learn a whole new scheme while our offense, which hasn't done anything to help this defense, go and, figure out the kinks on that side of the ball as well. And I really don't understand the direction, what they're trying to do here, with this whole thing, or if it's just, hey, look, we just want the people that we want here. And we're going to see who he's going to go out and hire as a defensive coordinator. And if it's Leslie Frazier, I'm really not going to be fucking happy about this shit. Because that, to me, is what we've been trying to get away from as Giants fans, is nepotism, the friendly, the buddy shit. Give me the guy that can perform. I don't give a damn. Learn to work with these guys. Learn to fucking work with them. Grow as a coach. Tom Coughlin had to do it. Tom Coughlin had to break down from his disciplinary ways and say, look, if I don't change, I'm going to lose Tuck, OC, Strahan, and all these guys, and we're not going to win. He had to change his ways. Why can't we hold Brian Dable to that same standard? Like, the hell out of here, man. Y'all got it. Go ahead.
Well, wait a minute now. You daggone it. Shit.
I'm pissed, man. This is bullshit, bro.
He left because they fired his mans. I could respect that. You know what I'm saying? Do I like it? No. But at the end of the day, whether we like it or don't like it, us bitching and moaning about it is not going to help us moving forward. So
yeah, it ain't the end of the world, man. But
we
it's
need to
definitely
figure out what's next. And when I say that, I mean because we still got a draft coming up. Yeah. Everybody was thinking, oh, we're going to get the quarterback, but we got a defense that was picked for his scheme. So now, based on whoever the hell they hire, our draft board might be looking different.
Wink wanted to move on.
They hire a defensive coordinator with some weight and some pull, and he says, look, we need this guy if you want me to try to make this defense work.
Okay, when are we going to start holding this head coach accountable?
I agree.
This is my problem, bro. Everybody want to point the finger at Brian Dable, at Bobby Johnson. Now you want to point the finger at Wink Martindale. Want to point the finger at Kafka. When are we going to point the finger at fucking Brian Dable? He's the fucking head coach.
Thank you. You know what? Just because here's the thing, though.
Wait. God damn it, motherfucker.
Shit.
Wait a minute.
Let's go.
Just be,
I
You
ain't
on
say
Unpopular
nothing.
Opinion
I
Sports.
didn't
no.
say
He wasn't talking to you, Lou. He wasn't talking to
Nah.
you.
nothing on Wink Martindale or nobody else. I
Nobody.
said a few weeks ago that at some point we need to start looking at the head coach
Yeah,
because
you
he's the one
said that,
representing.
but damn it, these fans that we debating against is trying to tell me that it's every other coach's fault on his staff except Brian Daboll's.
The honeymoon's over.
Right, it's over, man.
Just because he makes a decision doesn't mean it's right. I mean, let's be honest. He kept Thomas McGahee after
Everybody makes mistakes. That's a fact. Yeah.
right, but he hired Bobby Johnson. He saw no development in Evan Neal after a
Yeah,
year, and also
he's the
he
pause
kept.
police.
Does anyone know how the interview process went for Thomas McGahee? Halfway through the interview, he said, "Do you want the job?" He didn't even finish the interview with him. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand Coach Dave's point. He has the right to fire somebody.
Bullshit, Coach Dave. You got an emotional attachment to the damn quarterbacks. That's why you don't care about the damn defense,
Especially
man. Get
the
the hell out
Black
of here.
Geminis.
Fucking crazy ass, man. Go ahead, man.
Aha.
I don't got no emotional. Stop lying, man. We not lying here, man. We this is truth talk.
He only wants a black quarterback that's a Gemini.
I don't care what he want. I want a goddamn good defense. That's what I want. I don't want my defense goddamn fucking giving up 40 consistently while this offense can't do anything. If this offense was worth a damn, I wouldn't feel like this. But this offense stinking the way it does with no real plan in sight, I don't like this.
Time out.
Real quickly. To Coach Dave's point, and I get it. Listen, I'm on Coach Dave's side. They obviously should draft a QB in first round, but here's the thing, though.
We're not listening to you if you're on Coach Dave's side.
No, but I have a point. So yeah, he's right about that. But I'll say this: he should now. Obviously, we disagree on the Wink opinions because he said he should fire. The head coach has the right to fire and make decisions. Okay, I got that. But it would make a little bit more sense, and I'm not trying to change opinions here, to be on the side of Wink should have stayed, because at least going into next year, you could believe in this defense and what they could do if the offense got better. We're only hoping that the offense gets better, and we're only hoping that they pick a quarterback. Because as far as quarterback goes, that's the only thing we look for this team next year. Otherwise, running back with Daniel Jones, there's no hope, in my opinion.
Now you guys know I try to be as optimistic as hell. If anybody, I'm screaming 11-6 shit, right? Like I try to be optimistic. As long as Kafka is the offensive coordinator, this offense is not going to look good next year. Period. If Kafka is the offensive coordinator, this offense will look like shit again next year.
Let me ask you a question,
What I
though.
don't understand is why he's here.
Let me ask you a question, though. Okay, you just made that statement. If he's the OC, the offense is going to look like shit. Are you saying the development of the plays in terms of looking at the game film and then coming up with the game plan? Or are you talking about play calling?
I'm talking about play calling. He's the one calling the plays, right? Some of the shit he be calling out there be like, who and
Okay.
why?
Okay. And when Dable went and talked to him later in the season, did the play calling look a little bit differently, and did it look a little bit improved? Late in the season. I'm talking about later in the season.
The last two games.
Okay. Now, what happens if Dable takes the reins and just calls the plays, but Kafka develops the play? See, what I'm getting at is when you say the statement that as an offensive coordinator he's shit, are you talking about the whole thing or just the play calling? Now, see what
I'm talking about
now?
the play calling.
Okay, so now what happens if he designs some great plays, comes up with looking at the opponent and comes up with
But
great
just call
plays?
them at the wrong time. Then don't let him call.
And Dable does the play calling.
If
What
that works, then great.
Okay, So
Because
again,
where they took him from, that's what he did. He drew up the passing plays and came up with
hmm
passing schemes for Kansas City. He wasn't an OC. He wasn't, he was like a QB
hmm
coach and he designed
hmm
some passing plays. So if he's going to be good in that area, great. But don't let him call plays if he's calling shit plays at the wrong time and then calling good plays at the wrong time. Like,
I'm not going to defend. I can never defend the coordinator if your play calls are bad. But again, it's more to it because as fans, I get it. As fans, we're probably a little bit more analytical and dive more into it. Where the average fan, they just watch the game and they just want to see explosive plays and stuff like that. Where we
we
probably
dive
look
into it.
into we dissect it a lot more and try and get some reasoning into that. But let me get to the Wink side of things, which I do understand all of your points, in terms of continuity. That's a valid argument. That's a very valid argument. But in the end, if the head
What's
coach is
good,
not
man?
comfortable,
Cave.
if the head coach is not comfortable and he wants something specifically, and you have coaches who, you know what, they fight back a little bit too much, or they don't really follow his vision, then the head coach has to make a change. He
No,
has
I
to.
agree because one cog in the wheel not working messes up the whole machine. So I get it.
And while, yeah, I get where NYG is coming from, because the little is that Alex putting his hand up?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah, once
Oh,
Alex.
you're
that
done,
threw me.
once you're done.
That threw me for a second because I'm on my phone, so I really can't see it. But again, I will say this: the little acting scheme or whatever with him giving Wink the game ball, that
That
part
was
I'll
bullshit.
give you. That's bullshit. Look, don't. We here in New York City, we smell bullshit and we don't
Hmm.
like it, and
That's
it
why I
turns
say
us
what I
so
say.
it turns us away from you when you're trying to do the right thing at certain times. And I'm not saying him and Wink, separating is the right thing. What I'm saying is, if you're going to sell us that, then we're going to
Be
look
real
at everything as that you're doing is bullshit, even when you're doing something that's right. So
because you're not
that
being
part,
100.
exactly. So I get that part, but I guess with me, I'm just not as tied into Wink. I love Wink. I love his system. I love what he does, but I love the New York Football Giants more. I don't care if it's the coach. I don't care if it's the
Absolutely.
player. If you're here to help this team win, let's go. And if Wink is not, because in the end, and everybody, yeah, I get what y'all saying, that he got rid of his right hand man and all this and that. Let's be real though. Wink still resigned. He could still be here. He
Hmm.
resigned. Everybody feels like he was forced out, he could have said, "You know what? I'm gonna fight through this, and I'm gonna show them that I can still coach and I can do what I need to do." He chose to leave. That's on Wink. I'm sorry. I don't look at it any more than that. I want a coach that wants to be here. I want players that want to be here. Alex, you got the floor, bro.
Yeah. So not that I'm trying to put holes in one of your pranks, coach. Here's
No,
my
go.
thing.
Hmm.
If and this is just like in general. Brian Dable, right, comes from Buffalo. Leslie Frazier, for example, he's more of a passive guy. You don't like wing schemes. Why the hell did you hire him? Why didn't you just keep Patrick Graham?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, but maybe in the beginning he thought that the talks, because you do go around the league, that you question and you thought maybe there's something that could have worked out. But now see, we're going on the premise that he's going with Leslie Frazier. That's why I keep saying we need to pull our emotions out of this and step back and wait and see.
Hmm.
He could come back in with
So
another aggressive type of a coach, but yeah,
what
he
about
could.
this? Iman Perry, our defensive backs coach Jerome Henderson.
Hey, that could be a great possibility. We don't
I'm a
know.
big Jerome Henderson fan, coach. You know this. I always
Yes.
talk about Jerome Henderson. That's a possibility. Now, would he run Wink scheme? I don't know. I don't
But
know what
that's the
kind of
point.
scheme he would
That's
run.
the point. We don't know. Right now,
But
we
he
were
does know the
used to,
personnel.
yes, we were used to Wink and we were getting comfortable with Wink.
Man, don't
But
do that.
the
Don't
the thing
don't
about
do
it, the thing about
that.
it is, with everything that's going on. It's just, you know what, we're concerned, and I get it. I get it. But right now, me personally, I'm just waiting to see, because now NYG, you said hold them Dable accountable. To me, this is holding them accountable right now, because guess what? You screw this up, bro. Your ass is toast.
Yeah, he's done. He's
But
done.
I
I
still
would drive him
still
to the airport myself if he
I
fucks this up.
still I still want to see. I still wouldn't want
For
to wait and
real.
see
You
what he
better be
does,
right.
and what they do and where they go, because it's way too. The season just ended. It just ended yesterday, so
That's true.
I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch. What you gonna do in free agency? I mean, what coach you gonna bring in? What
I
coaches
don't
are you
know.
gonna bring
I got
in?
a knack for these things, bro. And I'm telling you, this I don't know about this right here. I said this about Philly when everybody was saying, "Oh, they're not going to miss their offensive and defensive
No,
coordinators."
we
Nah,
talked about that.
they
Yep.
got the personnel and they got all these talented players, and look at them now. They
Uh-huh.
just got whooped by us. You know what I'm saying? So don't dismiss these things like it's just, oh yeah, we could just move on. It's like these Giants fans are kind of like,
So what do
I
we
don't
do
know,
then?
man.
So if we don't move on, so if we don't move on, what do we do? We run around with our heads around like the sky is falling, like Chicken Little.
No, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, like Alex said, if you didn't want that style of coach, you should have just went
But
with
what's things could have changed in
whoever.
2 years. That's what I just said. I said things could have changed. He probably tried, thought, and you investigated. You did your research. You probably got good back, and you said, okay, let me give it a try. You brought them in, and look, they just don't mesh. They don't mesh. So
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do? Keep bumping heads and cause conflict and a separation in the locker room? Because you talk about, oh, the favorite friends and all this and that. Look, man, I have my, if I get another coaching job, I have my network of coaches that I'm going to reach out to first. I have to work with coaches, and there
But
has
are
to
they
be.
a good coach? We did this with Bobby Johnson. It
Yeah, okay, you're
matters
missing
if
what I'm
you
saying. You're
can
missing what I'm
coach or
saying.
not, not if
You're
he's your
missing
buddy.
what I'm saying. You're missing what I'm saying. You said you're tired of the nepotism. That's what you said.
But you
And
gotta
what I'm
have
saying,
coaches who understand your vision and your style.
exactly. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying every coach has to be, within your network, but you do have to have coaches from your network. You can't just go in and just say, well, I'm going to hire this coach and I'm going to hire this coach and I'm going to hire this coach. No, because you're really going to set yourself up. You really are for failure. But I get it. That's why I say, for me, I'm taking a step back and I'm not going crazy. This has been a very draining year from the fan base with all the emotions and social media and everything else. And now this, and now, like you said, no, you can't just dismiss it. I'm not dismissing it. I'm taking a step back and not trying to go too crazy over it, because that's what I'm seeing right now. People are going crazy because Wink Martindale is no longer the defensive coordinator, and I'm one of Wink's biggest
And you know
fans.
what else too, bro? He was a leader. We don't have no leaders on his team. We really don't. We've been talking about this all season about the leadership on his team. We had that leader on defense. Now you better bring somebody in here that can be a leader of men and get these guys, you know what I'm saying, in line, bro. Because it's just more than just scheme, bro. Yeah, his scheme, I get it. We can replace that scheme, but he was a leader of men. This is why I will bang the table for Antonio Pierce. If the Raiders let him go, we need leaders on this team, bro, on all levels, on the coaching staff, on the roster, at every level, bro. We have no leadership. That's why we don't have no goddamn identity. Go ahead, Alex. You want to say something?
No, I mean you're pretty much hitting on all your points. I mean, I get there's obviously there's a network of coaches, but I mean, personally, I'm going to give him till the end of April because it's just the way I see things. Is because it's not a guarantee that your defense is going to be as good next year. It's not. You could bring in a defensive coordinator and some players just won't mesh with the scheme. That could
Mhm.
happen. Like
Yeah.
it's not an impossibility. But at the same time, again, for me, it's about selling the fan base on something, not just being a fan, not just being a content creator, analyzing it. if you're going to sit here and say that we're going to rebuild, and again, I don't want to get into this quarterback discussion, but not take a quarterback, then you're just saying we're going to have a bridge year with Daniel Jones, which honestly gets your ass fired. Because if you're going to sell the fan base on that as to why you should come to the fucking shit stadium that we have, then your job should be revoked. And again, I was not a fire Dable guy when all this other shit was going on. And also, by the way, too, I want to make this point. I think Lou was bringing it up. As far as Mike Kafka changing the play calls and getting creative, how late was that though? Like he pulled out all the stops yesterday. We were 5-11. Could have used that. How many weeks before? How about when
Buffalo against the Jets?
Yeah, Buffalo when Brian Dable was too conservative. How about the first time against the Eagles when Darius Slayton was blocking Hassan Riddick? How about against the Jets when he didn't let Tommy DeVito throw? That shit comes back to bite you, man. I mean, seriously, those are teams. I know the ifs, ands, buts game. We could play that all day, but fuck, man. I mean, seriously, like this is the shit that you need to evaluate after the season. Like, why? I just don't get it. We're supposed to come in the third year hoping Mike Kafka's offense is going to click with possibly a rookie quarterback or maybe Daniel Jones or a veteran. Who the hell knows? But, defensively, when we actually had something proven and results, I don't know, man. As I said, I'm still angry, but, it's just rational points that I'm making.
Alex, you are making rational points, and that's fine. It's just that, like I said, because I'm sitting here and I'm looking and it's just like, I really feel like because of this season, it's too much Chicken Little in a sense. And all I'm trying to do is just, you said something that was, I 1,000,000,000% agree with. You said you're stepping back and giving them to April. I can rock with that. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we saw all season people, I'm done with the team, or I'm done with this. And that's the feeling I'm getting as opposed, and I get selling stuff to the fan base. Yeah, because it's a consumer base. It's entertainment. Fans want to be entertained. I get it. Fans ain't stupid and crazy like me, where I just want to look at X's and O's and look at schemes, and that's where I get my joy from. I'm the fool. I get it. But
And this
I just,
actually,
I'm just hoping that we just kind of temper down. Yeah, you're emotional. We're all emotional, but just don't go to the extreme. What the hell?
I don't know what that was, but
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
But this is the thing too. For all these people that want to draft this quarterback or whatever, now you really got to worry about this defense now because we don't know what scheme they're gonna run. So, if they're going back to a 4-3, now you got to think about the personnel. You got to think about free agency. Who are you bringing in? Who are you letting go? So on and so forth. So you're really going to be doing a lot of shuffling here. And it's not so set now with your defense. Whereas you could go into this offseason kind of saying, all right, at least we know our defense is competent. We want to add some pieces there, cool. But we really want to focus on this offense. Now, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Definitely. And I think in free agent, and that's definitely a good point, NYG. Obviously, again, you guys know my stance on the quarterback thing. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they attack edge rusher more than ever in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
You think a traditional defensive coordinator, whether it's Avero or Nielsen or Frazier, you think he's going to trust Aziz as the second edge rusher?
No,
We're never getting to the pass if that's the case.
Never.
That could open up like some of you guys always talked about Brian Burns. Who's the other one? I forgot who the other one was, but
There's Burns.
Josh Allen. He might get franchised.
and that's my point. So, again, that's why I'm saying, you know what? Yes, voice your opinion, everyone. Voice your frustration. But I'm just asking. Look, after all that, let's step back and let's watch and see. You want to hold Dable accountable? Hey, I'm with you. I'll support you guys 1,000,000,000%. It's year 3. It's look, we're going this way, that way, this way, that way. I get it. What the heck, Lou?
What you doing?
Damn.
painting
But
up there, sandpaper.
Whoop.
Yeah, I thought it sounded like a drill. Like, what's going on?
Building up my news anchor desk.
Oh, okay.
Well, damn, hit the
Well,
mic
can you
button, hit the
mute
mute
first
button or
before you do
something.
that?
Yo, can I say something real fast though? Because I'm gonna probably bounce in a bit. I gotta go check out.
Good. I
We're gonna
forgot
shut
you
it
That
down.
natty.
The championship is about
I
to
know
start.
everybody waiting for that natty. That's the thing, though. Like, come
I
on,
just wanted
Giants
to
fans.
fire
Let's be
this up.
realistic. Let's be realistic. I'm not on anybody's side. I agree with most what everybody said on here, but let's be realistic. Say Rick Mortendale was still here and we had a good season next year. I mean, like, we was always 2 to 3 years off. He wasn't planning on winning the Super Bowl next year. So if you really think about it, Rick Mortendale wasn't going to stay a defensive coordinator next year. So it's kind of I hate to say this because I know it's still the day of and it's just happened, but for me, I'm like coach here. Like I accepted this death of the season. Honestly, me personally, back in like October. You know what I'm saying? Like this season was gone. So like for me personally, I had like a lot of time to adjust with it, and I kind of took some time away from YouTube. But beyond that point, it's like okay, we keep Rick Mortendale, and then next season he's in 2025 he's interviewing for a head coach. So we have to find another defensive coordinator still then to replace him, right? So I understand the hurt and the frustration to lose him now. But you know what? F this fucking rebuild the half-ass shit. That doesn't effing work in the NFL. It doesn't. We just needed to strip everything the hell down. And I get it, Kafka. He's still on the chopping block too. There's still a lot of moves that could be made. You know, this is only the first domino to fall. I am not concerned too much about rebuilding this defense because at the end of the day, this defense still was strong at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, it wasn't where it's supposed to be. So at the end of the day, let's rebuild everything at once. Let's get a quarterback. No matter what, this regime cannot go on with Daniel Jones as the starter. Maybe he can compete against the guy we draft. But at the end of the day, dude, Brian Dable's job is on the line. Joe Shane's job is on the line. And guess what? They're going to get their quarterback. No matter what anybody says, we need to draft the quarterback. Everybody's rightful to have their own opinions and stuff like that. Fair enough. But at the end of the day, we need to attack every other position in free agency and later on in the draft. We've been down the road where we took offensive linemen year after year after year after year. We need to get a coach in here that can actually coach up these offensive linemen that actually wants to play offensive linemen. It's like joining the military. You want to join the military. You take an oath to join the military. These offensive linemen needs to want to play the position because we had a lot of people who don't want to play the position in here. We got to get people in here. I don't care if why is it every other team in the NFL can take this 4th round pick and then coach them up and then all of a sudden they're playing great on Sundays. But when it comes to the Giants, we can't do that with our first rounders. Come on, guys. It comes down to coaches that we had here. So at the end of the day, I'm excited for the future because guess what, guys? We was always 2 to 3 to 4 years out. If you can tell me, let's just build it right and let's just try again, reset it from here. Boom. Get a quarterback in here. Get a new defensive coordinator in here. We'll see what happens when it comes to play calling and stuff. We had a guy that went from Patrick Mahomes to Daniel Jones. Come on now, let's be realistic, guys. How much can you do with Daniel Jones? I don't want to hear the Daniel Jones haters out there. But at the end of the day, bro, go like you can support Daniel Jones. I'm not gonna get at you for supporting him. But guess what, guys? There's a big difference here between Patrick Mahomes and Daniel Jones, coming from Josh Allen to Daniel Jones. So at the end of the day, like I'm a fan of getting a new quarterback in here, getting some pieces in here that can solidify the offensive line. It doesn't need to be high draft picks. You just get people in here that wants to play position, get a coach in here that can coach up the position. F this friend shit. I'm going to hire my friend. I get that frustration in that. But at the end of the day, this is a really, really tough job. There's only 32 of them, and it's not happening overnight, okay? Unless you're like a genius and you can come in like Sean McVay and you can outweigh the system and trade your way for a Super Bowl. It doesn't happen overnight. Let's give him some time, guys. I understand. I'm extremely frustrated with that Brian Daboll at times. But guess what? If Bill Belichick never had time, he wouldn't accomplish anything what he accomplished. Sean Payton didn't have time. if Mike Shanahan didn't have time, if Kyle Shanahan didn't have time, if these guys need time, man. I hate this. What have you done for me lately? One and done, two and done. Let's give these guys the time, and when hopefully it pays off. Because at the end of the day, I'm tired of this firing this guy and then coming in and everybody mad at the coaching staff, but the coaching staff only had 2 years. Let's give this guy some time. And at the end of the day, when they bring in their people, their quarterback, their vision, how they wanted to build their team ever since they were 10 and they was dreaming of that moment. And then if it doesn't work out in 4 to 5 years, then you pay them chop, because at the end of the day, guess what, guys? There's Detroit Lions fans that haven't won in 67 years. You know what I'm saying? What's another couple of more years to win it by 2027? I'll sign up for that shit any day of the week. I'm gonna go watch the Natty.
27.
I'm just saying, 2026, 2007. I'm trying to build a dynasty. I'm not trying to build a one and done.
To fucking get this damn thing turned around.
I'm not saying that long.
It was 2012. You want to wait fucking 15, 20 years? No,
but tell me this.
You can't have but so much patience.
If 2026 and 2027, we have a quarterback that we signed this year. That's if. I was signing up.
Now you got so many things to worry about because the defense, like we can't just sit here and think the quarterback is the fix-all, end-all,
it's not the fix-all,
Now
end-all.
you have a problem on the defensive side of the ball. I honestly would feel better if Wink Martindale was coming back and you drafted a quarterback, because at least I know the goddamn defense can be a weapon out there that can slow some of these offenses down. We seen them shut down the Dolphins for a while. We seen them shut down the Bills for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this offense. We seen what they did to the Eagles. I know this this defense can be good. Now you're telling me we're going to redo our entire defense and slap a rookie quarterback in there and say, hey, now we're going to wait 6 years for him to cook. Man, get the hell out of here.
It's not 6 years. I didn't mean to exaggerate like that. And what I want to say to that is defense. We have certain players that can play the position that we need them to play. And Wink Martindale, yes, he's one of the great defense coordinators in the league still. And I'm not saying he's replaceable overnight. So I understand the frustration. But there's a lot of young coordinators in college. I'm not saying bring them in, but there's a lot of great young coordinators in college. And there's a lot of other great coordinators in the NFL that I'm just saying Wink Martindale is not replaceable. And if you believe in Dexter Lawrence and if you believe in the other playmakers that we have on defense, then we certainly believe that a person that can come in here, that can get something out of them, we wouldn't really take that much of a step back. Now, what I am saying is, I'm sorry to exaggerate, but I am saying when the quarterback, if we do draft the quarterback this year, by his third to fourth year in, so by his third year, we'll be the 2026-2027 season. We're still on the third year or fifth year contract. We'll be in a position to be a playoff team and actually compete in the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to just be a one and done in the playoff. What I'm trying to say is it's going to take time to build up this defense. It's going to take time to build up this team. So I understand. I didn't want Wink Martindale to go too.
Defense was about built, bro.
I understand that, but it's inconsistency. Out of the last 10 years, how consistent? How has we been able to depend on our defense year in and year out? I understand.
Martindale just got here, bro.
I understand that.
This defense.
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying.
Rip it apart and start over.
What happens next year when we have to rip it apart because Wink Martindale's here and he's gonna head coach? He's gonna interview.
Hopefully, your offense would be able to do something to carry some of the weight that this defense has been carrying for 2 years now.
I understand that, and I'm extremely frustrated. I wanted Wink here too, but the way I was just explaining it to, and I'm gonna give the mic up, and I don't want to take over the show.
I gotta go, fellas. I appreciate it. Being here. Absolutely. Love y'all to death, man. Keep it going. And if you got a chance, tap in, watch me on the Natty, calling the game. So love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Right. Peace.
We're gonna go over the coaches here in a minute, Peace man. Out, for this national championship game, man. But I'm just gonna give you guys one last word, man, before we shut it down, man. Like I said, I have my unpopular opinion. That's why I put this on as an unpopular opinion show. Because I know a lot of people, think that, losing that these guys are replaceable in the sense that they are, but when you're trying to build something, you need some sort of continuity. You know what I'm saying? And why not try to keep that continuity on the side of the ball that was performing for you this whole season? You know, and that's just my final thoughts. No, it's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna put something on there saying I'm not gonna be a Giants fan like some of these idiots do. That's not me. Y'all know that. But this is a blow. Pause to this team. I will admit that, and I will stand on that. Go ahead, Alex. Then Lou. Then
Yeah, I mean, the
Zion.
last thing, still, I'm very disappointed. Obviously, I read my notes out earlier. Um, I'll give them till the end of April to see what direction we're going in, how you're going to market this to the fan base. And, the last thing as well, too, is two guys I have in mind for offensive line coach is Mike Munchak, number one, former Steeler offensive line coach and Hall of Famer. Number two is Dwayne Ledford from Atlanta, made Chris Lindstrom a Pro Bowler 2 years in a row, nonetheless. And Arthur Smith just got fired. So either of those guys, bring them in. I really hope that Leslie Frazier's not the DC, because at the end of the day, you can't hire your friends if you can't fire your friends. And, as I said, for Giant fans, overall, we want to have something to look forward to next year, whether it's a quarterback or this, that, and the other thing. And, the firing, the Wink leaving kind of gets rid of anything we have to look forward to next year, because it's just something in the abyss. There's a big cloud. Not much in that cloud. But I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate the rest of the panel. Talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate you, Alex. Good thoughts there from Alex, Big Blue in the Bronx. Make sure you go sub up to him. Definitely a part of the Big Blue crew, man. And love chopping it up with Alex. Zion, I'm gonna give you a
Let's get it. Let's get it. Hey, first off, I appreciate you having me on, man. That's what's up, Big Blue crew for life. Thanks, fam, on that. And I'm extremely frustrated too, guys. I don't want to drag this on. I did respect Wink. I really wanted him here. I wanted him to stay. But hopefully, we can build something. I know we're in the abyss right now, but there's a lot of young offensive coordinators in college you should look at. There's a lot of great coaches coming up that should be candidate for the position, like a lot of defensive end coaches and stuff like that, middle linebacking coaches and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to replace someone like Mick Mortondale. So I know it just happened. So I don't want to come off super frustrated, because at the end of the day, like I am frustrated at Brian Dable too, as much as I sit up here and I defended the coaching staff and stuff. Moves have to be made, and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But if you can tell me that in like, I'm still gonna stick by my point, in 3 years from now, that's the 2027 Super Bowl. If you really think about it. Someone in the chat said 6 years from now. No, 2027 is in 3 years. That's the Super Bowl of 2026 season. And if you can tell me that the Giants can hopefully build something up to being competitive for that, I'll sign me up. We're trying to build something here. So whatever happens, I know it's an abyss. I know it's in a strange time, but at the end of the day, 20 years ago, we drafted Eli Manning, and the rest is history. So let's see what happens. I'm not saying we're gonna get Eli Manning, but I'm gonna say the times change and the regime changes, and it started with drafting Eli Manning, and we have some veteran defensive players here. Let's go out there and let's just try to build the team up and see what happens. Anything can happen. Thank you for having me on, man.
From Eli Manning to now,
man. Appreciate you, Zion.
It's been a long time since we've been winning, and I'm so fucking done. Oh yes, I am.
It's good. That was beautiful. I love that comment too. 20 years ago, we had a good O-line. That's facts, 100%.
Yeah, man. Facts, man.
Make me Sam Cook out this motherfucker. Horrible.
Well, what's your final thoughts, Lou?
I just sang them to you. I'm so fucking done. We better do something to start winning.
Yeah, man. We definitely gotta do this, man. But thank y'all, man, for coming through, man, for this emergency edition of Unpopular Opinions
Sports emergency meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how we do, man. But tune in to Coach Ed calling the national championship game. I will definitely be over there with my brother. So if you guys aren't subscribed, go subscribe now and tune in to Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports as he's going to be calling the Michigan
I have built the table. I'm gonna send you a picture.
Washington game.
All I
So-
gotta do is do the face of the table now. But I've built the table. I'm gonna send you a picture here once I get it up right.
Okay.
All right,
That's what's
fam. You guys
good,
have a
man.
good
All
one.
right, y'all, man. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Cheers.